Our sign language interpreter at these hour is Lenta Odingo. So she's joining us as we get into our first conversation. Remember, the 18th of February, 2023, finally, the long wait is over. In Bathurst, Australia, we're going to have the World Cross Country Championships. The last time we had a World Cross was in Aarhus, Denmark, and that was in 2019. Then the pandemic happened. So Team Kenya traveling to Australia. The plan by Athletics Kenya is to make sure that they get to the land down under about 2 days earlier than when they are expected. Normally they'll be expected on Thursday if the event is on Saturday morning, but this time round, so they will be there by Wednesday or tomorrow night. Given that they're traveling east, they'll have an advantage of time. And to speak about, the Kenyan team to the World Cross Country Championships, we're joined via Zoom from Eldoret by World Athletics correspondent Justin Lagat. And Justin, a very good morning to you from Nairobi.
Good morning to you, Aome.
Okay.
It's a warm morning here in Eldoret.
Well, I know Eldoret, that's the home of running. And just for a start, let's take a look at this. The World Cross Country Championships, normally we know that a team is selected about 2 months to the main event. So had to happen earlier in December, and that was within the season, even before we had the national championships. Your take on the trials that took place on the 10th of December 2022?
I think for me, everything has an advantage and disadvantage. So the advantage in that the trials happened like 2 months ahead of the championship is that the team had the opportunity to train together, so that they, when someone is weaker, you can take advantage of the strong partners in the team. So we are going to send a strong team to Australia this time round, and we are going to bring in the team titles. That's what I'm certain of.
Okay, well, let's now actually talking about the team titles. There's one athlete I'd like to talk about. I'll start with the senior women's 10K team. We will be running the 10K race. We've got Beatrice Chebet, a very dramatic win, I have to say, in Aarhus 2019, winning it right at the tape with 2 Ethiopians, right close to her. She's now graduated to the seniors. Let's first talk about the quality of that one young girl who's now joined the National Police Service.
Yeah, this time around, I think the Kenyan team, especially in the women's side, they are relatively younger looking at their age. Like Beatrice Chebet is 22 years. She was moving up from the under 20 recently. But also, the main rival they having here is Letesenbet Kidey of Ethiopia. Letesenbet Kidey was also a 2-time past world under 20 champion. So it's like they have the same level with Beatrice Chebet, but Beatrice Chebet is coming up. So we are expecting to see an interesting competition between the two of them for the individual titles.
And looking at this is an event that was won by Helen Obiri in 2019. And that means there is pressure on Kenya to keep that title in the country.
Exactly. Kenyan women have won the senior title for the last 7 editions of the World Cross Country Championship. We had from Vivian Cheruiyot, from the late Agnes Tirop, the likes of including Obiri, Irene Cheptai. It has been a Kenyan, the individual women title has been a Kenyan title. So Beatrice Chebet will be under pressure to keep the winning streak.
The rest of the squad that we shall be, let me just take you through the others. Emily Chebet, Cynthia Chepngeno, Edna Jebitok, Grace Nawawuna, and Agnes Chebet Ngetich. Just give us an outlook of the rest of the women in the senior women's squad.
Yeah, Grace Lopiach was the national champion. And the weather in Kenya and the weather in Australia is the same. So it looks like Lopiat is said to be successful because she did it in almost the same weather conditions. Part of Australia will be a low of 14 degrees centigrade and a high of 28. So that means Lopiat will be comfortable. So we also have Edna Chepito was second behind ahead of Irene Jeptai. But I think unfortunately Irene Jeptai will not be in the team. I think maybe it could be an injury. So I think Edna Chepito and Chris Lopiat will keep a good company to Chepet, together with the others, Emily Chepet, Cynthia Chemen and Agnes Ngetich.
And considering this, from the experience of Aarhus, where they had to run up the museum, Bathurst, this is a racing track, but it's also got some interesting uphills. How do you see most of our athletes, getting ready for this and the lessons learned from 2019?
But I think you need to repeat. Sorry, I didn't get you clearly.
Okay, Justin, this is my question. From the lessons learned from 2019, where you had to run up a very steep hill, that at the museum that was in Denmark, and the lessons for Team Kenya going into Bathurst, given that the course also has got its own hills and that, what is the way to plan for such a race?
Yeah, I think for now it may be too late to make any more plans, but the good thing is that I had the Athletics Kenya president talking up, saying that they were adding a map of the course in Australia as they train. So I think the coaches with the team are taking the athletes through the course in Australia, what to expect, and they have trained for that. So I think we are expecting some good performances from Kenya.
Okay, thank you. Justin, just hold on for that. We'll be coming back to you in a short while. We're speaking with Justin Langat. He is a World Athletics correspondent. And remember, the 18th of February is the World Cross Country Championships. It's going to be live on KBC Channel 1. And the first event is going to be the mixed relay, better known as the universal relay. And it is all about man, woman, or woman, man, woman. So the setup that is already there. We saw it happen, and this was at the National Cross Country Championships and also the trials, the new format that is there. So Justin is going to be joining us in just a short while and also have a conversation with Coach Stephen Mwaniki. So, who is an athletics coach. He's seen it all throughout this season, and he's been part of the national coaching staff of Athletics Kenya. So Coach Stephen Mwaniki is joining us in just a short while. Just to give you the names of the of Team Kenya, here we've got Reynold Cheruiyot, Daniel Kinyanjui, Dennis Kipkirui, Dennis Mutuku, and Charles Rotich. Those are the and together with and we're taking that's the under 20 side. And remember also we've got the senior men's side. We've got Jeffrey Kamworor, who has been to 5 World Cross Country Championships. He is the lead athlete in there. And also joining us is Coach Stephen Mwaniki. Coach Stephen Mwaniki, a very good morning.
Oh, good morning.
All right. Yes, and sure enough, Coach Stephen Mwaniki, he knows very well where the team was selected at Roiro, the Prison Staff Training College, and also that's where we had that. And coming to you, so Coach, this is what we're looking at, the World Cross Country Championships 4 years on. I know for a lot of the people who love cross country, as the part of, as how they start the season. Coach, 4 years, we know the pandemic was there, but over the 4 years, it's a new experience. Someone would say would expect a new experience.
Yeah, it's been a long time, for athletes, if they stay long without being active and also engaging themselves in athletics activities, then it becomes a problem. But our team is okay because the selection was done perfectly well, and we believe the training went very well, and we believe that come this weekend, the team will be there to defend to get glory for the country.
And the first one that I'd like to talk about is the first event of the day, because this is where you've got some little bit of expertise as a sprints coach. It's about the relay and the new arrangement by World Athletics, where if we go back to when Kenya won the first universal relay in Kampala at the World Cross Country Championships, I think Asbel Kiprop was in the anchor leg. It was quite a headache then, where it wasn't defined which order you would take. What were the experiences then, which you have seen probably even with the mixed relay teams in other disciplines?
It's quite a lot, because for the athletes, especially the middle and long distance runners, to be engaged in this kind of relay, it is kind of a different kind of act. But I think we've been learning, and I think the team which is going to represent us is a very strong team, and probably this time round we'll get it right.
2017, I think, is where the whole mind game was, because you didn't know what setup the Ethiopians had, but Kenya went for man, woman, woman, man. Ethiopia went for man, woman, man, woman. How difficult was it, to predict an event like that?
It's difficult, but you see, the way you arrange it depends with the coach. But basically, the best way to arrange the team is just to start with a man and then have the ladies in between. The ladies follow in position 2 and 3, and then you finish with a man. But if you try to mix a male and a female, then it's going to give a lot of problems, because most of the team, definitely, they normally have this kind of arrangement whereby the male start, and then the 2 females who are in the team run in the middle, and then you finish with a man. And I think that is the best way to handle the universal relay.
We're seeing changes happening, coming from recommendations from World Athletics, and this is so that you can have a real good balance in the team. And we saw it happen. Let's use the example of the National Cross Country Championships. Let's just use that, where it was man, woman, and that was for all the teams that participated. I know it was a very good day for you, having, seeing your team Prisons win on their home ground. How has that helped, create a fair playing ground for the universal relay?
It's fair in the sense that when you have women running against women, that is fair. And I tend to think that if the World Athletics will come up with a format whereby we have male athletes running together and female also running on their part, it will be fair, because sometimes it confuses. The coaches may think that if I start with a lady or I start with a man, and then the other team starts differently, then it's kind of a challenge. Yeah.
So there you have it. And just taking a look at it, the whole question is the final team hasn't, we won't really know the final quartet, but there's a tendency to have the 1500-meter runners and the steeplechasers coming in. How important is it for them? Because they're doing one lap, just 2 km, and they've got to find a way to balance between their endurance and pace.
Yeah, this gives an opportunity to the middle distance runner to enhance their speed, their endurance, their stamina. And for most of it favors those who are running 3,000 meters, 15, and even recently we have seen 800-meter runner coming in.
Yes, we saw Wanyonyi coming in.
Wanyonyi coming in. If you remember in Kampala, we had Asbel Kiprop, who was a 1,500-meter runner.
Yes.
So we had most of the athletes in that quartet were 1,500-meter and 3,000-meter. But this time round we have a mix whereby we have 1500-meter runners and 800-meter runners. So it's a different ball game right now, but I tend to think that Wanyonyi proved himself during the trials that also the 800-meter runners can come in and do something for this kind of event.
Well, Coach Stephen Waniki giving us his insights into, the Universal Relay. That's going to be the first event of the World Cross-Country Championships. Now, let's talk about the senior men's, and also joining us shortly will be Justin Langat, who is a World Athletics correspondent. He's going to be joining us via Zoom from Eldoret. And let me come to you, Coach. For somebody like Jeffrey Kamworor, 5 World Cross-Country events he has been to. I think the first one was in Punta Umbria 2011. He's won 3 in a row, and he also has a bronze from 2019. Now, let's come to this team that, Kamworor is going to lead. What are some of the aspects that, we've picked from Kampala, and given that the men's event is going to be crazy, you've got Joshua Cheptegei in the mix too.
Yeah, this is... the composition of our team is we have one of the strongest team that we have ever assembled, because we mix experience and also those athletes who are coming in. And with Kamworor, who has been able to win the cross country not once, he has that experience, and we tend to think that with Kamworor in the team, then you'll be able to lead the other to get us into the medal bracket. And we believe that this time round we'll be able to get the individual medal and the team title.
Actually, everyone talks about the team title, and Joshua Cheptegei, we have to say he aced it properly in Aarhus. What stands out for Cheptegei, because he's I can put it in summary, he's the biggest threat to Kenya's long distance running on the track and on cross country.
What we need to do, we have to put our acts together. We need to run the Kenyan style. And the Kenyan style, you don't give a chance for an opponent to run with you. The only thing we need to do is just to make sure that we have guys who will be out there to wear down Cheptegei. Because with Cheptegei, if you make it easy for him, then the final lap, it's not easy to dislodge him from the top position. So it depends with how the coaches, led by Kirwa, planning this race. And it's very important because they've done their training, and this time around, for the first time, they have trained more than a month.
Yes.
So I think they've been working on the plan. And the only way for us to be able to dislodge this guy is only to wear him down. And if we try to run the Ugandan style, then with Kiplimo and Joshua Cheptegei, it's going to be a tall order. But this time round, we have a good composition, and I tend to think that this is our chance now.
Now, here's the interesting thing. The senior men's team, it's got people who've held this world record in the half marathon. Kibiwot Kandia is in that team too. The other member of the team, Nicholas Kipkorir, we've got Kimaru Sawe, and we've got Emmanuel Kiprop Kipruto. Now, at the end of the day, the team title, because cross-country works interestingly, the point system. What's the best way to handle this? Because, there have been conversations about working as a team. If we go back to Oregon, there was that conversation where even they said, "Huyu alisahau, so tukaamua tuchome."
Yeah, with Kibiwot Kandia, he's coming from an injury, and this time around he has proved that he's back. And with his experience in half marathon, I look at him as the way Tergat used to run, because Tergat used to run half marathon after the World Cross Country. He used to go to Stramilano half marathon in Italy,
yes,
and he used to do very well. So Kandia, with his vast experience of running half marathon, I tend to think this is a guy to launch our attack. And with his teammates, together with Kamworor, I tend to think that this is our time, this is our chance. Yeah.
All right, Coach Stephen Waniki giving us his thoughts. And by the way, 5-time World Cross Country champion Paul Tergat is the ambassador for the World Cross Country Championships that will be taking place in Bathurst in New South Wales, Australia on Saturday, the 18th of February. And joining us via Zoom Justin Langat. He is a correspondent for World Athletics. Justin, talking about the senior men's race, this is going to be interesting because if you just take a look at Team Ethiopia, it's going to be a real East African battle. Just to mention some names, Tadesse Worku, Getane Mola, we've got Berihu Aregawi and Selemon Barega. Justin, what kind of competition do we expect from Ethiopia?
I think it will be an interesting competition, given the big distance runners from Ethiopia there. But, you know, sometimes experience also is important. So I think Amoror being the 2015 champion, 2017 champion, and then bronze medal in 2019. I think it's the big name. Kamoror is the big name. And then we also have Joshua Cheptegei and Kiplimo, Joseph Kiplimo. So it will be an interesting battle. But you know, with the Ethiopians, you never know. Sometimes they don't have one strong guy who we can say is dominant like the era of Kenenisa Bekele. So it's like we just wait and see. Perhaps they'll be a big surprise. No, but the big names are the three big names that we are waiting for: Kamoror, Cheptegei, and Kiplimo.
Now, also, let me just throw in this. Australia, there is somebody who goes by the name of Stuart McSwain. It's not business as usual. Again, when it comes to cross-country, Justin, your take on McSwain, and also, also ask Coach Mwaniki to mention that.
Yeah, McSwain has been doing very well in the 1500 meters, I think. So, looks like it's more of the middle distance. So the 10,000 meters may not be the best for him, but we shall wait and see, because he'll be in home ground. So you never know what happens when someone is at their home ground.
All right, thank you very much, Justin. And you know, looking at the entry list that was published last week by World Athletics coach, you know, you start seeing it's not just your usual, you know, Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia, Kenya-Ethiopia battle. Now there is also the Kenya-Uganda battle. People like Stuart McSwain coming in, and they've made their impact in the 1500 and the 5000 when it comes to this.
Yeah, you should not be worried, because the only worry we have is the East Africans, because these guys who are living along the Great Rift Valley, they're the ones who are going to fight it out, because it's only the battle is between the Ethiopians, the Kenyans, and the Ugandans. So you should not be worried about McSwain and the Europeans who are coming in. It's not easy, because cross country, the guys who have the most, who have trained in the endurance aspect and also the stamina and the strength and the speed, are the guys we are going to call the shots. So we should not be worried about the likes of McSwain and the rest. But what I know is that the battle will be between the three nations: Uganda, Tanzania, and Ethiopia. And you know that for us as Kenyans, we are the only country who have won the World Cross Country 18 times in a row. So we are also coming back. So you should not be worried about what will happen in Australia. We still believe our athletes, the ones who are selected during the trials, will be able to match our record.
Now, the other one that comes up is, if I look at, for example, the Tanzanian team, sorry, not the Tanzanian, the American team, the Bohr brothers, Emmanuel, Hillary. You know, there is the change of allegiance. Kenyans have now moved and are running under different passports. What kind of competition, you know, could we expect? We saw that happen in the women's steeplechase. There's a whole shift. What is it we should expect from the former Kenyans? Or like we say, how ni wetu bado lakini bendera tofauti?
Yeah, but still I believe, you know, cross-country is a different ball game. Somebody can be very good on track, but when it comes to cross-country, it's a different ball game. For example, If you look at what happened in Kampala, there was this lady called Bide. Bide, she was very good in running cross country. You look at profile on track and field, he's nowhere. Yeah. But in cross country, he was among the top athletes who made it easy for us to win the mixed relay.
Yes.
So coming to cross country is a different ball game. You can be very good on track, but coming to cross country is very different. So we still believe, though the Americans are there and all these countries are there, they're looking upon the three nations. The ones I've mentioned: Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. Uganda, Kenya, and Ethiopia. Yeah.
So there you've had it. The coach insists it is still the East African affair when it comes to this. But remember, we will watch live on KBC Channel 1 and see who gets hurt at Bathurst. Now let's move on to the under-20s, and this is a fully development affair. Let's start with what you saw within the cross-country season, say starting late November and culminating at the Sirikwa Classic this month.
Yeah, the under-20, we are lucky because our system where we develop our under-20s is good. So we still believe the athletes who are selected will be able to run against the best in the world, and the best are Ethiopians and Ugandans, but still Ethiopians, not even Ugandans. So we still believe that the contention, the contest will be between Kenya and Ethiopia.
So let's talk about the specific. Diana Chepkemoi, Joylyn Chepkemoi, Nancy Cherop, Diana Cherotich, Faith Cherotich, and Pauline Kosgei. Those are the 6 who have been entered for the under-20 women's race. What is it that you've seen with these young athletes throughout that season before they went to St. Mark's, Kigali for camp?
Yeah, during the cross-country series, we were able to see most of them, those who have been selected, were among the top 3 in the cross-country series. So we tend to think that we have the best. And because of the experience and the exposure that we've gotten in our different areas of running the cross-country, I still believe this is the best for us. We have the best team there, and come 18th, we'll be able to prove to the world that we still have young people coming up and ready to run the middle and long distance.
And which is the best way, to handle this and make sure that, these athletes are ready? I mean, at times they get out there. Somebody may have some stage fright, but unless you have, a prodigious talent like what Beatrice Chebet, pushing to the very last line. I think that was the closest finish ever at a World Cross Country Championships at the under-20 women.
Yeah, the difference between the under-20 and the senior category is that the under-20 run the Kenyan style. They don't care who is in the race, they just run the race. And that is the best way to win a cross-country. But if you start hanging behind and trying to do your calculation, then you're giving the opponents a chance to...
By Kenyan style, you mean?
You have to run in front.
Stay at the front?
Yes, that is how we've been winning this cross-country. But when you see that we hang behind and trying to do the calculation, then we know our weakness. The final bit of it is where we are normally beaten. So this time round, I think, still with the youth, the under-20, I watched their style of running. I think we have the best.
Now, looking at the kind of, how to mentally prepare some of these young athletes, how do you get to speak to them?
Yeah, the most important thing is just to tell them that they have a duty to defend the name of this country, because we are known in middle and long distance. And the best way is for them to run as a team, to be able to protect each other. And if somebody lags behind, you try to talk to each other. And the best thing about our team is that most of them, they speak one language.
Yes.
And you know that. So, so when you hear Ngebe and all this, that is when you know the war has been declared. So I'm happy that we have the best, and we have that that team composition, which normally they speak together, they do everything together. And this has been seen with the training at Kigali, because Athletics Kenya decided that once the team has been selected, they were not allowed to go and participate in other events that we had, because they never participated in the national cross country. They were not allowed to participate in Sirikwa Classic. They were given a chance to mold, bond together, and run together. So I think that we are ready for the World Cross Country.
Now let's talk about the under 20 men. Now this is this is also a very interesting one, because the conversation is this. It's through events like this where we've had world champions. Eliud Kipchoge was a world champ in 2003. Jeffrey Kamworor in 2011. So it has produced this people who come, keep shining all the time. I mean, even in the later years. How do you handle this team that's mixed, and knowing that Uganda have seriously invested in their young people? Actually, it's not even Ethiopia I'm worried about, it's the Ugandans.
Yeah, the under 20 men is also another team that we still believe they've been running together, they've been testing the ground together, and the selection was also good. So I believe that this under 20 men, the main battle will be between the Kenyans and the Ethiopians, not Uganda. Uganda, you bring Uganda in the senior category, but in the junior category, it's still Ugandans are there to prove themselves. But for us, we've been doing this battle with Ethiopia versus us, and I still believe that we have a strong team.
Well, the team that's going to represent Kenya, let me take you through the names so that you just get to know them. We've got Reynold Kipkorir Cheruiyot, Daniel Kinyanjui, Dennis Kipkurui, Dennis Mutuku, Charles Rotich. So those are the 6 who have been picked, and they will be in Barnhurst, Australia. That is going to be the third race of the day. It will run at about 10 minutes past 9. Well, we'll be coming back to you, Coach. Now, back to a conversation, and this is about athletics. Remember, the 18th of February is the day when we have the World Cross Country Championships. 7:30 a.m. is the first event, the Universal Relay. So be bright and early, 7:15 a.m. We'll be having that conversation from Bathurst, Australia. Kenya going there to make their presence felt. We're with Coach Stephen Mwaniki, and we were talking about the real preparations. And Coach, I would like to talk about this. AK Athletics Kenya, they said that they want the team to arrive there slightly earlier than is normal, and that's an edge of about 2 days or so than when they're supposed to be there. You've traveled with Team Kenya. I know let me say west to Bahamas. So how do you get somebody to acclimatize to 8 hours time difference?
Yeah, acclimatization is an issue, but is also a subject in coaching. And for them to arrive before the event earlier is an advantage to the runners, because one, the flight from here to Australia is a very long flight, between let's say 18 hours, 19 hours, and that sometimes affects the athletes. So for them to arrive earlier, then take a rest, and then also be able to scan the route, internalize the route, and be able to know where do we have the obstacles, where do we have whatever, where are the challenges. It makes it easier for the coaches to map out the strategy. Though already they have received the information from the World Athletics website, how the course is, but to feel the ground, just to run across that place, it makes the athletes feel that this is a territory that they know about. So it's very important in terms of preparation.
Oh yeah, yes. I can always say that because what was it? I think which was in Eldoret 2019. I think they did a lap but forgot that there was a mud pit coming. So like they say, kwa ground vitu ni tofauti. And even as we move around this, Coach, we're heading into the track and field season now. already won. We've had already the event. Kisumu has already hosted that. So let's just the outlook and the key thing for the track and field athletes over the next 2 months or so, by the time we get to May.
Yeah, the build-ups have already started. We started with Mumias, but the first track and field proper was in Kisumu last weekend, whereby we had all the athletes coming, and especially the sprinters came. More sprinters came in the competition, though there was a challenge with the track because it is a 6-lane track, and here you have so many who have registered for the event, and even those who are making into the finals. But
it's a small Bislett stadium.
Yeah. But what happened in Kisumu was it was a good indicator to us, especially the sprints coach. We could see that, especially the women folks, the 100 meters, we had 3 women who went under 12 seconds, and that is quite impressive. And we tend to think that if we continue with the momentum, then we'll have very good sprinters come the trials in June, and also for this year having the World Championships and also the All African Games in Ghana. So this is good for athletes. So we are still also anticipating that we'll have more build-ups, because already in the calendar we have 6 series, and the next one will be in Nairobi in 2 weeks' time. So it was well-attended event, and all the athletes came for this event, though we didn't have the big names, but those who came for the track meet in Kisumu, it was a good build-up for especially the sprinters and also the middle distance runners.
Imali ni jina kubwa.
Yeah, Maximila Imali.
Maximila is a big name. But anyway, by the big name, it's a man, is Ferdinand Omanyala. National indoor record 6.55. Mondeville last week, and winning in Paris on Saturday. The future for him?
Yeah, I tend to think that if Omanyala comes and run during because he's ending his World Indoors slightly before the Nairobi meet. You know, Nairobi meet is on 24th and 25th. If he comes and run the 100 meters, I think for Kenyans, you'll be able to see under 10 seconds. Because for him to break the national record in 60 meters, it proves that the guy is ready to run 100 meters. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Coach Stephen Mwaniki. And remember, Thursday morning, bright and early, be up by 7:20 a.m. and tune into KBC Channel 1, because we shall be broadcasting the World Cross Country Championships live from Bathurst, New South Wales in Australia. The Universal Relay is the first event, 7:30 a.m. The Under-20 women is at 8:10 a.m. 10 minutes to 9 o'clock, we have got the Under-20 men. Then we've got the senior women at 9:30 a.m. And then at 10:30 a.m., we shall have the senior men. That is the itinerary for Saturday morning. Well, asante coach for being with us. We take a short break, and when we come back, let's talk about a team that made it to the playoffs in the debut season of the Kenya Volleyball Federation League. We're talking about Trailblazers. We will be joined by the coach of the team. His name is Bernard Selu, and we also have got Stanley Mutua, who's a player with Trailblazers, coming up in a short while.